I think the next question goes to you. Is that our investment team published the research paper on factor investing and whether it has worked in Indian market, how it has worked. So there were a few questions which also came in on the thing. So while Vinay has explained the new process that we are incorporating at the portfolio construction level, my question to you is that what were the key learnings when the investment team went into the data on factor investing, and how did we incorporate that in our investment process? What changes did we make apart from putting quant over there? Is there any other change that we made?
Yeah, so let me delve on the specifics about the study or what we learned from it. I think Vinay would be in a better position to explain how we have inculcated it into our process. But first, let me talk about the genesis of the study, right? Why did we even get into it? So I think there has been a long-standing argument about whether one should choose passive investing or active investing, and what role does active investing have as the indexes are becoming increasingly smarter, and the ability to generate alpha is reducing. So that argument has been going on for a good part of more than a decade now. So what we try to do is there is already a concept of factor investing, where what basically it means is that can one just simply invest, focusing on one particular aspect of one portion of companies, and choose to invest in those companies. So we have been very scientific based research oriented fund house, right? So we try to see if can we identify a pattern in the market in what has happened in the last decade or so. So what we tried to do was we carried out this factor analysis, factor investing analysis on the entire universe, listed universe that has been available to investors over the last decade. And factor investing in simplicity was that if you, let's say, identify that I only want to invest in growth oriented companies, I don't want to look at companies which are growing slower. So would you have made better returns in the equity market? And many people are proponents of the idea that this takes human emotion out of the picture, because you're simply just focusing on one particular aspect of a company and creating a portfolio out of companies which fit into that pattern. So we tried to see if that really works, and that was the main idea of doing this and checking how successful can an investor be by simply focusing on certain factors. And the factors that we used were growth. So does investing in faster growing companies help? Quality. So we have been constantly emphasizing on the fact that good quality companies deliver better return. So has that worked? If you invest in better quality companies, does that work? Companies available at a better valuation, relatively lower valuation given their merit, if you do that, does that generate higher returns? So on and so forth. So we carried out this analysis, and certain interesting aspects came out of it. Some of the key learnings that I would talk about here are, first of all, factor investing works, is the point that we learned from the whole study. If an investor focused on any of these factors, looked at the historical data and said, let me just look at the companies which have grown faster in the history above compared to the overall industry and invest in them, on a rolling basis, they were better, more often than not, they were able to beat the overall market. But what was more interesting is that if you carry out the same analysis, let's say if an investor is able to look into the future and with some amount of certainty predict which companies actually will be faster growing companies in the future as well, then the prospects of beating the market increased significantly. So what we have observed is that rather than looking at historical quantitative factors and simply saying that only passive investing, looking at only or just investing which looks at specific set of data and you just hold a portfolio, simply doing that more semi-passive kind of a strategy, if you mix it with active investing, where fundamental research is also involved, where you're not just looking at companies which have done well in the past in terms of growth, quality, or are cheap, but also looking at situation keeping the future prospects in mind, then an investor ends up making far better returns. And that is how we, as Vinay indicated in the beginning of this discussion, that we have emphasized a lot on the concept of human learning. This is how this learning has been, inculcated into our process as well. And we have that's the genesis of the fundamental approach that we have tried to also bring into picture. And actually, I would rather let Vinay talk about it in more detail, on how this is changing the way we do things over here at Union AMC.
So first, let me answer on how this new process has evolved. Um, I think one thing which I want to highlight is that Union Mutual Fund is a learning organization. Investments as a field is not static. A lot of things keep changing. If we remain static, we will be like dinosaurs, and we do not want to be dinosaurs. We have emphasized that as a fund house, we believe in natural intelligence and human learning, and this learning has to manifest itself in some system, so that different people, if they look at this system, are able to come with a sort of a very close to very similar outcome, and that would ultimately ensure repeatability. When we want to achieve this objective, and when we discover a lot of things, we want to incorporate it. So I will give you an example of medicines. Uh, 50, 60 years back, paracetamol was discovered. It was a very good drug, right? But there were certain shortcomings. It was less effective. It was doing the job, right? But it was less effective. But people kept on doing research and development. The scientists kept on doing that. They did not say that, wow, paracetamol is great, and let's stop here. So they kept on doing more research. And when they do more research, they identified new molecules like diclofenac, tramadol. All of these are great painkillers, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, right? All of these are advances in pain management. If you stop and rest on your laurels that no, we have achieved a great thing, you will stop improving. We are like that research and development laboratory. As a fund house, we keep on doing a lot of research, which is happening at the background. It's a laboratory. And when we discover something, when we identify something which can be operationalized, which can be put to commercial production, we want to introduce it into the market to help improve the outcomes. Not that we are going to make drastic changes in the portfolio tomorrow. Not that we are going to suddenly change the way we are working. It is an improvement to what we were doing. It is going to help sustain what we have been doing, ensure the repeatability. It is going to ensure that we institutionalize the process furthermore. So the overall objective is process should be institutionalized. It should ensure repeatability. So the improvements which we are bringing in, it is like the new and improved version. It doesn't mean the old effectiveness will go away. It's only likely to result in further improvement. So I think that is more about why we are introducing it, whether there will be big churn, etc. I think not at all. There was one question on momentum. I think we have talked about momentum as a factor. It has done well when we look at historical data. In fact, most of the quant funds actually rely and swear by this factor. It's a fantastic factor, historically produced great returns. It is a bad word amongst a lot of value investors. No one wants to talk about it, right? But what we have discovered, it's helped. Having said that,
yeah, sorry to interrupt. If you can also define momentum, because there's a lot of confusion in the market. What momentum is? Is it a bad word? Stock, poor quality stock?
Sure. I think yes. I think that's a very good question. So I think momentum has got a bad word because it is associated with speculation, excessive trading. It is associated with short-term returns. It is associated with investing in weak quality companies, etc., etc. Many of these factors may not be untrue. Like, for example, the momentum factors which are used by index providers, they do not filter out companies based on quality. So yes, some poor quality companies do seep in. When you buy momentum index funds, there may be these poor quality companies which may come in. But as a factor, momentum is not about speculation or trading or any such thing. It is about which companies have outperformed. So the principle behind momentum is that if some companies have outperformed in the past, they may deliver better returns in the future as well. So mutual funds have popularized this jingle, right? Past performance may not be repeated in future. Momentum is the opposite of that. So this, in fact, Eugene Fama has talked about momentum as one of the anomalies of efficient market hypothesis. Having said all of this, we are not incorporating momentum as of now in our investment process because, as I said, we have been studying a lot of factors. Unless and until we are very sure that some of these factors are definitely going to help investors, we are not going to put them into commercial production. So they are still at pilot stage, lab stage. Till the time we are very sure that these are going to definitely help investors, we are not going to incorporate them. And that's the case with momentum. So to clarify, we are incorporating three factors: growth, value, and quality. So I think this is a good slide. What was our investment process version 1? It was stock selection, wherein we just talked about fundamentals. We looked at only the fundamentals of the company from a universe of 5 companies which have more than 500 crores of market cap. So there are about 1,000 companies which have which satisfy this criteria. We create a fund house universe of companies which we think are high quality businesses run by good managements and are growing their fair values. So currently our fund house universe would be approximately 190 to 200 companies. And from there, we then create portfolios. So the stock selection part is completely fundamental. In the investment process version 1, portfolio construction was also only fundamental. What is changing is this. In the investment process version 2, we are going to look at both fundamental factors as well as quantitative factors when we are creating portfolios. It is going to serve as a guide in terms of creating portfolios. We are not blindly going to follow any algorithm. Just to clarify, it is an active management style. Fund managers have the discretion to accept or reject what the quant models tell us. It is only serving as a guide, and hence it is a quantamental approach.